Hello artists, welcome into Monet Cafe Studio, where I am continuing with this month's theme called Different Strokes. And I don't know about you, but we can get into habits or patterns, and often it's great to stretch ourselves, and that's what this month's painting lessons are all about. In today's painting, I'm going to share with you some fun things to try that you may have never tried. One is a textural homemade surface. Often I find our mark making is alive and fresh when we work on a surface that has a little bit of texture to it. And I'm very excited to share with you the varied amount of marks that I made for this painting here. So let's get started. I think you're going to learn a lot. I decided to pull out some old, very old boards of mine that I had prepped, a few years ago and had never gotten to painting on them. These were created on matte board. I used different colors and even different textures. I love this golden fine pumice gel. I have a lot of videos using that, but for this painting, I decided to use a board that I had treated with Liquitex clear gesso. I use this a lot. As a matter of fact, I forget sometimes to mention my Amazon shop. I have an Amazon shop, and in it I have many different product review videos, and one of them happens to be on Liquitex clear gesso. I'm not talking about regular gesso, but clear gesso. This is the video right here. And I go into all kinds of information about this product and why I love it. So I'll include the link to my Amazon shop review in this video post. All right, so here I have my clear gesso, and I'll talk to you about why I use clear and not regular gesso. I just put a little bit in a dish, and I use any kind of big old tattered brush. If you want more texture, you can actually use a real tattered ratty brush. But I just got a rather smooth application, and I'm adding extra gesso to this, or clear gesso. This board was already treated, but I wanted to show you how I apply it. And it's often a great idea to do 2 coats of this. Obviously, let the first coat dry before you apply the second. Now, the reason I use clear gesso can be demonstrated right here. If I use regular white gesso, I would totally cover up this beautiful blue surface I had created. And by the way, I created that blue surface on the matte board with just some acrylic paint. Also, another reason I use the clear gesso is because for some reason, clear gesso is textural, it's gritty. So when it dries, it gives you a little bit of that gritty surface that many professional sanded surfaces have that allows your pastels to stick to it. Now, if you're interested in making your own DIY pastel painting surfaces, on the main page of my YouTube channel, you can find a section called Podcasts. And under podcasts, I have all kinds of lessons categorized by subject matter. Down there on the bottom left, you can see DIY pastel surfaces. I have over 30 videos on different ways to make your own soft pastel surfaces. So I love to share that information, especially for beginner artists who may be on a budget. All right, are you ready to paint? I have a beautiful reference image from unsplash.com. It's a great site for copyright-free reference images. And I chose this one because I really liked all the texture in those grasses, in the foreground grasses. And I thought it would be a great way to demonstrate some different mark making techniques. I also thought it had a fairly simple composition, and I like to share lessons within the month of a particular theme that have more of a beginner focus. First, getting in this, I guess you would say horizon line. It's where the hill is. And now I'm just looking at where this large mountain on the left falls, kind of basically where it falls onto the hill. And then I have another little mountain range in the distance that kind of trails off, and I don't like mountains that trail off, so I added another little curve up on the edge there. And now I'm just getting an idea of some of these general grasses. By the way, I'm using a yellowy light colored pastel pencil for that, and that's it. Now let's talk about these pastels. I used various pastels for this painting, but I did grab quite a few from this Unison 120 half stick set. I've got one missing there. It's a great set, but I also used some from the J. Luda Pretty in Purple set. Look at these purples. This is a set that I actually curated for J. Luda Pastels. They have it available now from J. Luda Pastels, but also on dakotapastels.com. I'll have links to those in the description of this video. I also used various other pastels from this little tray that I have. I have a lot of greens in this tray. This is my remnants from previous paintings. And the tray is actually a drawer from a very affordable little set of drawers that you can also get from Amazon and other online retailers. And again, I'll have product links in the description of this lesson. And yay, now it is time to paint. Now this version on the Monet Cafe channel will be sped up substantially. I'll tell you in a minute how to get a slower real-time version of this. And I'm just getting in some gestural grasses. I'm using this kind of a darker green just to get in some of my darker values. That's typically how we work in soft pastel. And we also, if you like an impressionistic style like I do, I love to do what's called a blocking in phase, where you literally just block in a majority of the colors and values of the reference image or the real life image if you're working in real life, or plein air it's called. And I want you to know that it's not supposed to start looking good right away. Look how textural my surface is right now. So resist the urge to think you've got to get it all detailed and all looking perfect at first. It just doesn't work that way. I do a little blending with my finger, and I'm going to show you another little blending technique in just a minute. Well, right now actually, that works great for these homemade surfaces. It's just a paper towel. I fold it up and I use the little corners of the paper towel just to do some blending. Look how that softened everything up. Now, let me take a quick break here. If you would like the full version of this lesson and so many other lessons that I have available, it's over on my Patreon page. It's easy to become a patron. It's only $5 a month. I have such a beautiful community of artists. I love the fact that I get to see your work. We have fun art challenges and every level is welcome. So come join my Patreon family. You can find the link here and in the description of this video. Also, while I have you here, could I get you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up button? It really helps YouTube to share this video more often. It's a simple thing to do that helps so much. Of course, subscribe and leave me a comment. I love to hear from you. All right, let's get back to this lesson. And while this is not real time here on the Monet Cafe version of this lesson, I do want to share with you a little bit more about working on a homemade surface in general. And I love working on homemade surfaces for many reasons. I feel like I have a lot of control. I can choose the color. I can choose the texture to a degree, depending on some of the products that I use. Like I said, I've got a whole collection of how to DIY, make your own pastel surfaces under the podcast section on my YouTube channel. And I also just love that it's more affordable. So that really helped me out early in my pastel painting career. But it takes a little getting used to sometimes. Now, this surface that I prepped with the clear gesso, it's probably the most affordable way to make your own pastel surface. But the homemade boards, sometimes they are a little textural and I don't know, not very beautiful looking at first. And that's why I think that blending the first few layers after you block in really helps. Then I'm able to do what you see me doing here. The layering starts to apply much easier and more clearly after you get that first initial blended layer down. That's what I've found anyway in working on this type of homemade surface. Another advantage I find is the final result. I feel often like some of my paintings created on homemade surfaces lend themselves to be a little bit more impressionistic and painterly. I mean, I do love the professional sanded pastel surfaces, but there's just something about these homemade boards. Now, if you're brand new to pastels, you may be thinking, why do you even make your own board? Why can't you just use pastels on drawing paper? Well, you can, but you're not going to be able to get that layering ability. And it's really one of the ways that you can create paintings that have that depth that you often see in some of the pastel work you may be admiring. And while there are some pretty affordable unsanded pastel papers, one is made by Canson. It's called Mitons. And I like it now, but when I was first beginning with my soft pastel painting journey, I didn't really know enough or have enough art experience to be able to get good results on that surface. So that's why I like to share a lot of lessons. Again, I have over 30 lessons in my little podcast list of DIY pastel surfaces, is because often when you're first starting, you don't want to invest all that much in these professional sanded surfaces, and there's so many ways you can make your own. So I hope that's very helpful for many newbies out there. And as you can see, I've started layering some of the pinks for the flowers. They're going to get much more vibrant as I go along here. And I'm using some cool greens in the shadowy areas and more on the mountains. This is one of the purples from the Pretty in Purple set that I curated from the J. Luda Pastels. They're actually a pastel company in Romania, which I love because my daughter-in-law is from Romania. And I used a variation of pinks and purples. Even though the flowers in the reference image were a bit more purple, I don't know why I leaned a little pink in this. And my Pretty in Purple set actually has this very vibrant pink in it as well. Pink is really just a little bit further on the warm side of the color wheel, going away from purple. Magentas are kind of purplish pink. Now I'm using just some pretty bright greens, and now I'm adding a little bit more dark value. It's a really dark brown Terry Ludwig pastel. Now these are little long, thinner, rectangular pastels called Prismacolor New Pastels. They're great for getting little gestural fine lines. They're also quite affordable. I'll try to remember to include those in the product supply list in the description of this video. I'll have all of the products that I used as links in the description of this video. And this is a beautiful bright green. I believe that one might have been a Jack Richardson pastel. And you're going to start to see things really brighten up now. And I really like the speed versions. I feel like you can watch the painting just come alive. And in the Patreon version of this lesson, I go over so many different types of mark making techniques, just so you know. And over on the Patreon page, I have a challenge where my patrons create a few different paintings with different mark making techniques. And I have a random drawing at the end of the month to award a prize. I love that. We just have so much fun over there. Now, I've slowed things down to real time here, just so you can kind of get an idea of the general speed and see kind of a little more clearly just some of these little marks. And often mark making can be challenging when you're first learning to paint, because we have a tendency just to make marks that are kind of the same all the time. And we think of grasses as just all vertical and leaves as just growing a certain way. But there's so much life and gesture and variety to nature that when we can embrace that through mark making, our paintings can truly come more alive. Now you can see close up here that underpainting color showing through, especially in the foreground. You can see the texture of the mat board, and you can also see that these homemade surfaces really do work. I love just the tangle of different leaves in this. I got a little carried away, but it was a lot of fun. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please don't forget to give this video a like, leave me a comment. Let me know if you're going to try to make your own homemade surface, or if you've already done that and if you like it or not. I pray this lesson was a blessing for you, and as always, God bless and happy painting.